Have you noticed that everybody's scrunching their nose on TikTok or something like that now? Like, dude.
Welcome back to the Thread the Needle podcast. This is part 2.
Part 2 with the bows.
Oh,
With Frederick and Jacqueline Bow. That's Frederick, F-E-D. If you say Fred, you are fired.
Yeah. Nah, I don't know you.
We are not friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, last week we had a great conversation talking about friendship and what our relationship has looked like and things that we've learned and just maturity and growth and expectations over the years and things like that. This is actually the same day recording both of these, but you heard it last week. So, yeah, today we want to jump into part 2. And so I'll just go ahead and kick it off with this question. Am I crazy, or has social media completely ruined people's ability to have a quality friendship?
100% yes. 100%. Because the whole term with social media they coined, right? Your friend.
Yeah.
Right? You just follow someone and make them your friend. I'm like, but you're not talking to them. You're not really engaging
Social.
with them. You're not social with them or even in a relationship with them.
Yeah.
But you're attaching the word friend to someone that you don't even interact with. You're more so like just watching them from afar. So it's more like, not like stalker, but you know, it's like more, that would be a better term than friend. You know, you're just a watcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're a person who is active on social media, as all of us are, well, Patrick.
I'm active.
No, we're on social media.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I think of social media, I'm like, oh, Instagram.
Yeah.
But we are also on TikTok
Yep.
and YouTube. But which feels like safer spaces sometimes than Instagram
Yeah.
because you share your stories and kind of like, obviously we know how that works.
Yeah.
The point is people have a just palm of their hand glimpse at little bits of what you're doing, but I still think that's enough for people in today's day. Like they're like, I know what Jacqueline's doing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. Like, I saw you there. You did that.
Yeah.
And
I double tapped
your
your picture or what
and
you
I'm
posted.
fine with, like, because I love sharing that stuff. Like, we're all there to do the same thing. But when it replaces relationship with your current friends, I think then there's a problem.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and I think people that think they have such a huge following have this false security that they have so many friends just because they have this huge following. I was like, your following is not your friends. That's just a group of people that decide to follow along what you're doing and your nicely curated best images of your life. Like they're not seeing the real deal, the gutter moments, you know, the when you're down. So if they're not seeing you when you're down, only you showing them when you're the most up, then that's not really a friendship. They're not your friends, you know? But that's what we've been
Like
conditioned to see. That's what friends is, or friendships are.
Yeah, I feel like in this day and age, if you have a huge following, I don't know if you guys feel like this, but if you use the term influencer as someone has this presence on social media, I feel like a lot of the times that I've interacted with someone that has a huge following and whatnot, it's really hard to kind of get their focus when you're talking to them on a one-on-one basis because everything is about social media.
Yeah.
It's like, hold on, let me do this. Hold on, let me do this. And you're kind of like, okay, are we still having a conversation?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it all kind of like it feeds the like short attention span.
Yeah.
You know, that has like rapidly declined.
yes.
And to be fair, let me give this like preface. I just turned 38. I'm rapidly approaching my Unk era.
Oh, my gosh.
I did just go.
This guy
on-
just had a birthday and talk. He just had a birthday and talk about his uncle
I'm
era
getting,
now.
you know, I'm getting close. I did just go on a rant on Threads about this.
Oh.
That is
I am
Uncle
not
approved
on
though.
Threads.
A good rant on Threads is Uncle approved behavior.
Yeah, but I honestly feel like, you know, Jack, what you're saying about trying to have a conversation with someone and they are so conditioned to respond to the notifications that they feel like they owe it to their followers to stay connected to them at all times. and reply to every comment and see who's liking and see who's viewing and read the DMs and reply and, you know, get involved in every single facet of every piece of content, that they lose connection with the real person.
Yeah.
With their phone upside down on the table that's sitting right in front
Yeah.
of them. And so it just like takes a huge amount of quality away from that experience and that, honestly, the connection to that person, which impacts the relationship in a negative way.
Yeah.
And then there's the other side of it, that our short attention spans, like you were saying, like it's great to share those little bite-sized pieces of our life. But the problem is, for people creating content, you're kind of conditioned to share the highlights, like the high moments, the peak moments, the celebrations, those things, because that's what gets the best engagement. That's what people want to see. They want to celebrate with you, those kind of things. But then that's also conditioning people to not have an appreciation or even a patience for the other moments, like the boring moments or the low moments or the trending downward towards a low moments. And so they don't have time for it. They don't have bandwidth for it. They don't know how to respond to it. Like people, I can't tell you how many awkward conversations I have on a daily basis if I have either a hot take or a criticism or something negative to say, and people just don't know how to respond to it because I wasn't just spitting out sunshine and rainbows all the time. Like I'm not trying to get clicks or likes on, you know, what I said, but I don't know. I feel like an old man because I'm like, this is a real conversation.
Yeah.
And like, you can give me a real answer.
Yeah.
But they don't even know how to respond. And so people literally, like, we laugh about this a lot. I'll say something real. Someone will ask me, like, hey, how's it going? And in that moment, if like something is happening that is causing stress, I'll just tell them. I'm like, you know, not great right now. Like, this week has been good, but right now, like, this is really hard. And people will come back with like, oh, yeah, well, I'm going to the lake today.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, are we in elementary school? Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand. You just don't know how to respond
They've lost the art.
when someone says something negative. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah, I think social media has conditioned us to keep chasing for the next best thing that
Yeah.
we lose what's in front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can honestly say, like, when I started my blog or anything like that a couple of years ago, I was always like, okay, what's the next best thing? And sometimes when we're constantly chasing, we're losing who's in front of us
Yeah.
that loves us, that
Yep.
wants relationship with us, not all of the followers that follow us. Because yes, to a degree, it's people's jobs and they
Yeah.
have to like tend to it because that's how they make money.
For sure.
But it's like, where's the limit?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
once you start losing yourself, how do you get yourself back to being able to love what's in front of you and enjoy the moments versus I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to get this.
Yeah.
You know, how do we approach that, I guess, with people who've kind of like lost themselves?
Yeah. I mean, that's, oof.
Like,
I mean,
they just lost.
they just lost. I mean, they lost. I mean, I can't. You have to want to.
Yeah.
You have to want to have that good balance, right?
For
Because
sure.
I feel like social media. There's so much people that hide behind a persona. Like they're this type of person on all the stuff that they're posting, how they're talking on social media and stuff, and how they're speaking with friends. But then you speak to them, you see them in person. It's like, whoa. You're not even, you're real, the real you is not who you're
Yeah.
portraying. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and if that's the real, if I see that, then I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if I really I can't vibe with you like that. You know,
Yeah.
if you're not just be who you are, you know,
Yeah.
like, I know you're trying to be this, but, you know, you could always see through that stuff. Like, you could, as a person, and even when it comes to social media, like, people, I feel like, because they can portray who they want to be, they just prefer to live in that augmented reality.
Yeah.
Like they want to stay in that because that's giving them juice,
Yeah.
right? You have people commenting all your stuff, like I'm getting real hot. That making the endorphins go off inside of you. You're
Yeah.
feeling good. Like that becomes your high. So you want to keep that high,
Yeah.
and then rather than having to develop that on a face-to-face
Yeah.
in reality with someone, like
Yeah.
to work toward that.
Yeah.
It's like easier to do it on social media as
Yeah.
opposed to actually one-on-one with someone or going out and having to do that. And people don't want to put in that work no more.
Yeah,
No.
for sure.
They really don't. I think there's like been waves of social media. I think at one time social media was really social.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I started in the blogging
The
days.
Facebook invite
yes,
era.
the
Facebook event invite
Yeah,
era.
oh my gosh! Wow, we
Those
took
were
it
the
way
days.
back.
Yeah, way back.
But yeah, like people wanted to take it offline. I've actually met a lot of friendships
Yeah.
that want to take it. We can
Yeah.
connect over something we do that's relatable,
Yeah.
and we connect over that and offline. But yeah, I think in today's like robust world of influencers, it's one thing to talk into a camera. You're in a room by yourself.
Yeah.
You're talking. You never have to face people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a lot of people
Yeah.
have just
Yeah.
forgot how to communicate and have friends. And I know a lot of girls who have huge followings and they actually don't have friendships.
Yeah.
They either have a lot of family members around them that fills up their time, whatever. But when I'm on there, I do like to connect. And if I find someone interesting, I'm like, oh, I wonder if we could be friends. If we're DMing a lot, because
Yeah.
I've done that with girls. But I think one thing that it has lost the art is we're just kind of lazy on it now.
Yeah.
It's like people can't even, like, if you say something nice, comment to them. Someone with like 300 followers will just like double heart it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, girl, we once sat next to each other at work. And like, you can't even just say, hey,
Yeah.
how have you been?
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know. I take some of those things too personally, and Frederick knows this. And I
Yeah.
have to just be like, it's just an online world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's just an online world. Sometimes it'll like go a little.
And then people are still trying to appear to be cool too, though. They're like, "Well, I don't want to say too much on there.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
comment. I don't want to engage too much
There's-
because it looks like I'm like maybe thirsty or
yes,
you know,
like I don't
want to
wanna
get popular.
comment
Or,
on
Yeah.
your
yeah,
celebratory
Yeah.
posts, because that's going to look like I'm following them, and I
Yeah,
don't want
yeah.
them to know that I even look at their
Yeah, yeah.
videos.
Yeah.
And
We literally just talked about
Yeah.
that the other day of like, people post now, I think more so for popularity or more
Yeah.
followers, and it's not genuine, I feel like. There are people that are genuine and it's not even about that. But I feel like sometimes people change themselves to be friends with someone.
Yeah.
And you're losing yourself and your identity
Yeah.
just to be friends with this person because someone else is friends with them, or you know a mutual friend that's friends with them. So then you're like, I want to be in the crowd.
Yeah.
But then once you're in the crowd, you're like, no.
what is this crowd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a-
Exactly.
Yeah, there's,
Who are
there's
you?
there's a lot more followers
Yeah.
than there are individuals on social media. I feel
100%.
like
Yeah.
like you see one person's wearing one thing, then 50 people gotta look the exact same or talk the same, and I'm like she's laughing at me because she
Don't
knows
embarrass me.
she knows I'm gonna go because she asked the other day, she's like, have you noticed that everybody's scrunching their nose on TikTok or something like that now, like doing
You
the
know
scrunch
that
nose?
girl who does
There's-
the scrunch
There's
nose?
a scrunch nose thing going on, and
And
she's like
she
everybody's
looks into
scrunch.
the
Yes.
camera and
Now-
just goes.
But now everybody's doing that scrunch nose
And
thing
now
that she said.
every girl I know
Oh my God.
on TikTok is in the camera just clicking like.
But that's
Like-
just because in the hope that the algorithm's gonna pick it up, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, I feel like social media now, which was intended for creativity and individualistic creativity, has now become more like it's morphing to just a whatever creativity has the algorithm attached to it.
Yeah.
That the algorithm's gonna pick up. So
Yeah.
we're becoming less creative because we're just trending.
Yeah.
We're trying
Yeah.
to find what
Yeah.
that trend is, and
Yeah.
I don't like that part of it because
Yeah.
it's like it's defeats the purpose.
Which could
Yeah.
also be like how people do friendships now.
Yeah.
We were talking the other day how even your social class or like
Yeah.
how much money you have determines like what type of people you want to hang out
or
with.
be seen
Yeah.
with.
Or
Right.
be seen with.
or you put
100%.
out there. I'm
Yeah.
hanging with, you know.
And
Yeah.
I know people like that where
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm allowed to be in your
Secret circle.
secret circle, but I'm not allowed to be in your public circle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not gonna post about me. You're not gonna
post
mention
about
my
me,
name out
You're not gonna
loud.
mention why I even tolerate this. No
Yeah.
one knows. But
But you're gonna send me that text when something go
Yeah.
down though, because you
Yeah.
know I'm gonna
You
be the
know?
one that got
That's
your
real.
back. You're gonna
Yeah.
send that little text and nobody
That
know you
is-
sent
it's
it.
like prayer warrior.
Yeah, you go say
Yeah.
that.
Am I on that?
I'm
Yes,
on
I
that.
am. Am I at your big bash party?
No.
No. Was I invited?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, but girl, pray for me.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
you.
When things get rough, you really, that's the person, I'm the first start you're thinking of, but,
Yeah.
you know, in the fun.
We're just going
cheery
on all
going.
kinds of tangents.
I know, but that's just
Tell us
how.
how we really feel.
Yeah,
No,
I
but
know.
that's,
I feel
that's
like
us.
this is
I
a
feel like
confessional thing.
I feel like that's still how social media has
yeah.
led to that.
Yeah.
Because social media has allowed us to devalue relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actual
Yeah.
relationship
Yes.
Yeah.
with someone, because you can just unfollow.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
means I could just toss you to the side.
Yeah.
I don't have to care about your emotions, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
Just discard you whenever I like. Whenever I feel like, move on to the next.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so it's like dilutes relationship.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I think people really I have found it's interesting to me is people do want these circle of people that really just kind of make them look better.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. They could be so toxic for you,
But don't matter.
It doesn't matter because
Yeah.
it's like, you know, this makes us look good. You have a lot of money. Like,
Yeah.
what's
Bringing
interesting is I
reviews.
get older. I think in college, like none of us have money, so
Yeah.
it's not that big of a deal. Except if you are an athlete.
No.
nowadays.
I was an athlete back in the day
Yeah.
in college, and we ain't had no
Yeah.
money. This is pre-NIL.
Yep.
I was just too soon.
Yeah.
Too
Today,
soon, before your
today,
time.
athletes have money.
Yes.
Money. They
Yes.
have the money.
It's a different
like, don't
world
even.
for them.
You see what they drive?
Kids have
Yeah.
money.
These kids
have
is
money.
driving. Like, come on.
Yeah.
For sure.
They drive.
Anyways.
Oh yeah. So we digress.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's. I mean, this is all 100% what I was tapping into. So, actually, it makes me feel better because I really do. I get these frustrations and I hold on to it for a while because. Am I just getting old? Like, is that what this feels like?
Yeah, that's
Is that
what I
really
thought
what
too.
this? Because think about this. Talking about following is much more common than leading now, especially
Yeah.
online, but it's bled over into real life too. Because think about like back when we were in like high school, middle school, playing basketball, and you're picking out your basketball shoes. Remember the feeling if you saw someone else that had the same shoes?
Yeah.
You're so mad.
Oh,
And
yeah.
all of a sudden, you got to go back to the store.
I'm
and
taking
pick-
them off.
Yeah. I got to
taking
go
them
find
off.
something
Yeah.
else.
Same thing with clothes, too.
Now, like that feeling is completely
Yeah.
gone. Like the idea of a quote unquote trend on
Yeah.
social media
Yeah.
that like people actively seek to copy other people. And that's just
Yeah.
so different from what the real life experience
Yes.
was
Yeah.
like for
Yeah.
all of us pre social media
Yeah.
old heads.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's probably 50-50. You know, there's probably a decent amount of it that's just I'm getting older. I preferred, you know, how it was for me
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the things that I enjoy, just like music too. Like obviously 90s hip hop and R&B is the best ever and
Yes.
way better than anything that's been made
Oh, yeah. Oh,
after
yeah.
that, and music now is garbage, and so
Tell us how
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's probably the same thing. Like it's just I'm just getting older, and so I prefer what I prefer.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's some validity to all this too.
For sure.
Because I think the patterns of social media, they're taking advantage of psychology. Like they're hacking psychology to make it more appealing, to make it more
Yeah.
addicting. To make it where people can't look away from it. Even
100%.
these influencers we're talking about that have huge followings, if you get them like away from their phone for 10 seconds, they'll tell you how much they hate social media and how much they feel trapped by
Yeah.
it. But at the same time,
They're
they
on-
still can't put
they
it
can't
down.
They
put it
can't.
down.
Yeah. They can't
Yeah.
release.
So, I mean, it literally is. It's a drug. It's addicting.
Yeah.
Like it's,
And you
know.
can tell, and the other part of it too is that social media is such a great tool. Like we learn so
Yes.
much from it. Like it's so much value that it does add.
Yes.
But the other sides of it is that it's the generation after us.
Right.
That's what they're learning from.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're learning what they're seeing,
Right.
and
Yeah.
they're seeing everybody else just like, oh, I got to do this because this
Yeah.
person does this.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need to do this. I need
For
to
sure.
do that. So that's kind of what that's their big brother, their big sister.
Yeah.
And
that
how
they're
they
looking
even build relationships.
Yeah, and how
Yeah.
they build
Yeah.
All
relationships
their
is just what they see.
relationships are
Yeah.
online
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how they communicate
Yeah.
through Snapchat or
Yeah.
Yeah.
sending their messages like I'm left out or am
Yeah.
I in
Yeah.
this or
Yeah.
so having even children like having to teach them like real life
The way.
the way,
teach
the
them the way.
friendships, like
Yeah.
how the art of friendship and the art of relationships
Yeah.
offline.
Yeah.
Which isn't that weird though, because
It
for
is.
us, we had to learn how to get our real life personality to translate online.
Online, yeah.
And now they're building the online personality first.
Yeah.
First.
And then they have to learn how to take that into the real world
Yeah.
and deal with real people. And that's just
Yes.
so weird to me.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
wild.
it's like the reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're flipping it, and I don't know. I think they just got to go back to the old days, man. You bust up in little chat rooms,
Yeah.
little dial-up internet or something. You know, little dial-up internet.
Let's get
Teaching
AIM.
them patience.
Yeah, because you know what? Back in,
AIM
even
back.
though that was online, though, even some AIM, you online, you're not really seeing. I think the visual of it
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is what
is it slows down the actual socialness of
Yeah.
it, because you when you're just typing something, you're
Yeah.
still like learning. You're going back and forth. That's
Yeah.
still a
Real time.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still a real conversation back and back. But
Yeah.
just seeing it, and like, oh, I just put emoji,
Yeah.
and that's my response. I'm just sending you emoji. That's my response.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Oh, I-
active words.
I can't get into it.
you
Yeah.
don't like the
already-
emoji?
No, I don't. Okay, so my only thing, I love social media. I am an advocate for
Yeah, I'm
all
100%.
things creative online,
Yep.
like all the things. But when I express, if I show intentionality in you and put like a longer message,
An intentional message.
intentional
comment.
message,
Yeah.
I write out something really great and encouraging in a text message or
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
And you double heart me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like,
You don't give me nothing else but that heart.
yeah. Yeah.
We got beef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Others would see that differently.
Yeah.
I know a lot of friends who
Yeah.
don't find anything. I'm like, okay, hey, I'm showing up at 5:00. Double heart. Cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But me expressing myself or
Yeah.
telling you about something really hard in my life,
Yeah. Yeah.
That means you
girl.
couldn't take the time to respond.
That's weird, right?
yeah, it is.
It's so weird.
if you translated that to an in-person conversation, in my opinion,
It would just
that's
be
like
yeah.
the equivalent of like either smiling or nodding. Which
Yeah.
like that's
Or
fine.
staring.
Just
or
staring.
Like
Which-
stare.
Like you didn't hear it.
No, like because it is
Then I'm
an
saying it again.
acknowledgement. It's an acknowledgement, but there
That's
has to be a
literally
response
Yeah.
after, because
Yeah.
otherwise it's so weird. Like right now, we're sitting here talking. If I pour my heart out and say something, and you just like smile and nod, and then don't say anything else. That's really weird. The conversation's
It is.
over, and the conversation's over. At
Yeah,
that
it's
point.
over. It's like,
mean,
and I'm not
that's-
But
saying
people
anything
are
else.
okay
here.
with that.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
are okay with
They're
that.
fine
so how
with
do
leaving
we
it
be
hanging.
okay? How do
There's no okay.
we be okay?
Yeah, there's no okay.
That's what I ask myself all the time. Jacqueline, just be okay with it. Like, how are you going to be okay with it? How are you not
Yeah.
going to take
You
this
kn-
personally?
you
How
kn-
can we still be friends? Like, how
This is
are
what
we
you do.
continuing?
This is
If
what
you
you
do
do.
this to me every time, but I continue, well, what I do is I back up.
Yeah, you don't
I
tell
just
them
back
anything
up.
no more.
I just
Yeah.
keep backing
You-
up.
I
that
like
just
I
takes a level of depth away. Like I'm not telling you anything else that's
Yes.
deep or that's truly
100%.
like that. If that's how you're gonna treat my pearls, you're gonna
Yes.
squash them in my face like that. You ain't getting no more pearls. I'm moving, like no.
I kind of
You might get a hello.
label
You
that
may get a hello
Yeah.
for me after that.
exactly.
But is that petty?
No, it's not
No,
petty.
Are
it's
we
not
not
petty.
being? That's what
That's guarding
that's
your.
what I
I
said.
feel like that's guarding your heart,
It is
though.
guarding,
It is guarding your heart.
But then what I can't stand about it is I shrink back into who I am not. And so then I get frustrated by being all who I
Yeah.
am, which is an encourager
Yeah.
or this, and then I just go, wow, now I just got a double.
Yeah.
Double heart too.
I just view them like if it happens more than once, I kind of put them in the acquaintance category.
That's good, yeah.
They get shifted
Because
out.
then
That's what
I'm
I do
like,
too, yeah.
Yeah.
you're not really my friend if I know there are instances where people cannot handle something or
Absolutely.
there's seasons,
Yeah.
Yep.
but I think that needs to be communicated. And
Yep.
if it's
Yeah.
not communicated and it's just nothing, I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't like the friendship that I'm thinking it is. Maybe you are just like, hey, I see you when I see you, and we can be
Yeah,
cool.
you just got to demote them. They going to AAA.
Yeah.
They might get cut.
They might get cut too.
The end of the year roster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the end
that's
of
what
the-
we talked
no,
about
not even
last
end of the
time.
year. That's called an in
Mid-year?
the moment cut.
Oh.
That's an in the moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta hit them in the
This
moment.
is sounding so.
No, it's
This is just sounding
no,
like our regular conversation.
But if you can, all I'm saying is that
Guys, friendship
if
is
like
awesome.
Matt said, if you poured out your heart and told them some really deep stuff that you're really thinking about that matters that much to you, and it doesn't matter that much to them to give a response. You don't have to give me a whole paragraph back,
Yeah.
but give me at least one line that
Yeah.
says that I hear you, I heard it, and
Give me
I have concern in there. Like
Yeah.
you have concern with what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That means that you took the time and you value me enough
Yeah.
to come there with me.
Well, I think that's awesome. That's probably a good stopping point.
We
Friendship.
could talk about it all day.
Yeah, we
Okay,
could. I mean, we could do an
10-part
entire series
series.
on this for sure. But yeah, thank you guys again for coming on.
Thank you.
Friendship is weird. Thank you for processing it with us, and
Friendship
I-
is lovely too.
it is.
Friendship is weird.
It's weird.
It can be weird
And
and
lovely.
good at the same
Yes.
time, just like social media.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it is so needed.
Yeah.
And people should continue to put themselves out there for friendships.
Yeah.
For sure.
And to
And value
continue
it.
to cultivate
Continue to
and
value
value
it,
the
for
ones
sure.
you have that God has placed in your life.
Yeah.
And continue to be open for
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
season that you're in.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
so not lose hope that
Yeah.
every person is
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Yeah, and
a nutcase.
and even wrapping it, the one thing I would say, friendships, I forgot to say, is like you still have to work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to cultivate
in
it and
progress.
continue to cultivate it and work
Yeah.
on it. It's like you got to tend that garden, you know?
For
For
sure.
sure.
So yeah, that's the only way for it to grow.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys again.
Thank you.
Another episode.
Yay.
This was part 2. So if you listen to this one first, go back and listen to part 1. Like, subscribe, share, leave us a review. Thank you, and we'll see you guys next time.
Love you guys.
Yay.